Civilizations rarely collapse because they are unaware of danger. More often, they collapse because the danger arrives quietly, incrementally, and wrapped in familiarity. The warning signs are present, but they do not feel urgent. They feel manageable, temporary, inconvenient. And so, they are ignored. In the ancient world, decline did not announce itself with catastrophe. It emerged through subtle changes in climate, resources, and social behavior. A river shifted its course. Rains became less predictable. Harvests weakened slightly. Administrative systems grew heavier. None of these developments alone seemed fatal. Together, they formed a slow erosion that many societies failed to recognize until recovery was no longer possible. The Indus Valley civilization offers a striking example of this process. At its height, it displayed extraordinary organization. Cities were carefully planned. Drainage systems were advanced. Trade networks extended across regions. Daily life appears to have been stable and orderly. Yet over generations, environmental conditions changed. Rivers that once supported agriculture shifted or dried. Monsoon patterns altered. Urban centers were gradually abandoned, not through violence or sudden disaster, but through adaptation that slowly undermined the system itself. To the people living through this transformation, the changes may not have seemed catastrophic. Families relocated. Settlements dispersed. Life continued, just differently. But the warning signs, environmental instability, economic stress, urban depopulation, were clear in hindsight. The civilization did not fail because it lacked intelligence. It failed because it could not adapt fast enough to cumulative change. This pattern repeats across ancient history. In the Maya world, complex cities flourished in regions that demanded careful environmental management. Deforestation, soil exhaustion, and prolonged drought placed increasing pressure on agricultural systems. Monumental construction continued even as conditions worsened, suggesting a cultural commitment to tradition and authority that outpaced ecological reality. The warning signs were not invisible. Reduced rainfall, food shortages, and social unrest left traces in the archaeological record. Yet many cities persisted until they could no longer sustain their populations. Collapse unfolded unevenly over decades or centuries. Some regions adapted. Others were abandoned. The overall system fragmented under stress that had accumulated quietly for generations. Ancient Egypt, often perceived as timeless and stable, also experienced repeated warning phases. Periods of low Nile flooding led to famine. Political authority weakened. Social cohesion fractured. These moments did not always result in immediate collapse, but they exposed vulnerability. When institutions failed to respond effectively, instability followed. What unites these cases is not ignorance, but perception. Humans are exceptionally good at responding to immediate threats and remarkably poor at responding to slow ones. Gradual decline lacks urgency. It does not demand dramatic action. It invites delay. Success amplifies this problem. Prosperity creates confidence. Confidence breeds assumption. Systems that have worked for centuries feel permanent. Leaders trust established practices. Populations trust authority. Early warning signs are often explained away as anomalies or temporary disruptions. In many ancient societies, knowledge of environmental cycles and risk existed. Agricultural calendars tracked seasons. Astronomical observations recorded long-term patterns. Oral traditions preserved memories of past crises. Yet this knowledge was often ritualized rather than operationalized. It became symbolic rather than practical. When warning signs conflicted with existing power structures, they were especially likely to be ignored. Acknowledging systemic risk often requires uncomfortable change. It challenges authority, tradition, and economic interest. As a result, societies tend to preserve stability until stability becomes impossible. The Roman Empire illustrates this dynamic clearly. Administrative complexity increased as the empire expanded. Maintaining infrastructure, military defense, and economic integration required immense resources. Tax burdens grew, political legitimacy weakened, external pressures mounted. Yet for long periods, daily life in many regions continued normally. Warnings were present. Economic inequality widened. Military loyalty shifted. Local governance replaced centralized authority. These changes were not sudden, but cumulative. Collapse, when it came, was less a single event than a long process of fragmentation. For those living within the system, the idea of collapse may have seemed abstract. Rome had endured crises before. Why would this one be different? The past created false confidence. Familiarity bred blindness. This blindness is not unique to ancient societies. It is a fundamental feature of human systems. The more complex a civilization becomes, the more interdependent its structures are. Interdependence increases efficiency, but it also amplifies vulnerability. When one component fails, strain spreads quietly through the system. Environmental stress is particularly insidious. Changes in rainfall, temperature, or soil quality occur over years, not days. Their effects compound slowly. By the time consequences become obvious, reversal is difficult. Ancient societies often responded reactively rather than proactively. Adaptation occurred after damage was done. In some cases, it was enough. In others, it was too late. Cultural inertia plays a critical role. Traditions, rituals, and institutions exist to preserve order. But when conditions change, these same structures can prevent necessary adaptation. What once ensured stability becomes an obstacle. Myths and stories often encode this awareness. Tales of hubris, divine punishment, or lost golden ages reflect an understanding that imbalance leads to consequence. These narratives served as memory aids, reminding future generations of vulnerability. Yet memory itself is fragile. As generations pass without crisis, the emotional weight of warnings fades. Stories become symbolic rather than instructional. Ritual replaces response. Knowledge becomes heritage rather than tool. The most dangerous moment for a civilization is not during crisis, but during prolonged success. Comfort dulls awareness. Growth masks risk. Warning signs are easier to ignore when daily life continues uninterrupted. This does not mean collapse is inevitable. Some societies successfully recognize and respond to warning signs. They adapt infrastructure, redistribute resources, or restructure governance. But such responses require foresight, humility, and willingness to challenge existing systems. The ancient record shows that these qualities are rare, not because humans are incapable of learning, but because learning often conflicts with immediate interest. Collapse, then, is not a punishment for failure. It is the consequence of delayed response. It is what happens when warning signs are acknowledged intellectually, but not acted upon practically. What we observe in the ruins of ancient cities is not ignorance, but gradual misalignment between systems and reality. Civilization becomes optimized for conditions that no longer exist. The lesson is not that warning signs are invisible. It is that they are uncomfortable. They demand change, and change threatens stability. History shows that civilizations often continue along established paths until adaptation is forced upon them. By then, options are limited. The ancient world leaves us a quiet message. Decline rarely begins with disaster. It begins with dismissal, with hesitation, with the belief that tomorrow will resemble yesterday. The warning signs are always present. The question is whether societies choose to see them before they become irreversible. Subscribe to this channel for more. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a story lost to time.